your Jeff Bozo friend because Amazon owns Twitch. In case you weren't aware, bought and paid for. Yeah. So that's one aspect of this. The second aspect of this is that, as we know already, this just sucks. This fucking story is just like so shitty. But a couple days back, what is Juniper's Twitter? Okay, here it is. Because she actually posted this decent synopsis of the situation, and she was completely correct on it, and it's already happening. So Puckett, MLG Puckett said on a tweet of anti-LGBT protesters, like literal fucking Proud Boys and like right-wing terrorists, okay, domestic terrorists that go around all over the fucking Southern California region to like fuck shit up. They went to a school in Glendale to protest what? The protest of the school was doing like Pride Month, okay? Glendale, a school in Glendale, decided to say June is Pride Month. And, love is love. Love who you love. We are not going to be fucking hateful and bigoted. And of course, that was unacceptable for these right-wing fucking freaks, the Proud Boys and the like. They went there to a counter-protest. And then that was sold in right-wing media as though these were like the parents of the children that were going to school that were somehow duking it out with like some weird LGBT activists that came out of nowhere, when it was the exact opposite. Okay? It was the parents that were getting their fucking ass beat by psychotic right-wing dudes, some of which had been to January 6th in fucking Glendale, that they went to just fight people at. Okay? They went to the event to literally fight people. They're not Armenian. They're not from fucking Glendale. They were random, psychotic, right-wing freaks. Freaks that we see on the timeline on a regular basis. They go to these places to do brawls. Someone like Nickmercs doesn't know that. He doesn't understand that. He just sees right-wing commentary, and he fucking freaks out about it because he's inundated, just like you are, just like XQC is, just like everyone else is. Well, not you in particular, because you're in this community. But most normies are inundated, if they're on Twitter, with this insane amount of right-wing fucking agitated propaganda, claiming that like any mention of like homosexuality or queer shit in front of children is actually grooming them. They're pedophiles. They're trying to fucking groom your children. They're trying to sterilize your children. They say some unhinged ass shit. Okay? So Puckett said, this happened 4 blocks from our Overwatch League apartment. Americans are in a sad place right now. Let people love who they love and live your own life. He said they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. And Call of Duty obviously reacted to that and took away Nick's in the most obvious thing that was going to happen. Call of Duty took away Nick's skin. Okay, he has a skin. He has an operator bundle and a skin on Modern Warfare 2. And they said, due to recent events, we've removed the Nickmercs operator bundle from the Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone store. We are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees and our community. There's a fuckload of gay people that work there, obviously, and they're a brand. Of course they're going to do that. Like, the irony here is that Nickmercs could have probably even said that on any other fucking month and not the beginning of Pride Month. Like, he couldn't have, if he had said that in like July, Call of Duty probably would not have reacted this way. Okay? It's the one time where brands are like, actually, we do care about gay people. Please don't be homophobic right now. Or please don't be transphobic right now. Like, and he did it fucking 4 days, 5 days, 6 days into Pride. You know what I mean? Of course they're going to fucking react that way. So, Doc agrees with Nick too. Yeah, that is the least surprising thing I've ever heard. I mean, what do you mean? That's David Icke, Dr. Disrespect. That's Dr. David Icke respect, okay? Like, yeah, no shit. He agrees with him. Anyway, listen. So, Juniper said this before this even happened, but she was 100% correct. Now everyone is fucking going crazy over it and saying Nickmercs was attacked unjustifiably because he said something that was like not all that aggressive. Okay, he just said like protect children, which like from his perspective it might literally not even mean exactly what like Ben Shapiro means when he says that. But plenty of people who are defending him now certainly mean protect children implies like LGBT is grooming. So that's the question. Does Nickmercs think that like any kind of LGBT education, any kind of like admission that like gay people exist, trans people exist in society, is that considered grooming or not? Okay? Because plenty of people right now straight up fucking say that. Okay? But of course, the right is going to take on any kind of fucking thing they can. They're going to take on any kind of opportunity they can to fucking literally run throw the book at this and turn this into a major news story, because he's a gigantic content creator. He's a very normie focused content creator with right wing perspectives. Okay, so now everyone on the fucking right, all the way down to the fucking far right, are going off on this and saying Call of Duty has gone woke. Call of Duty needs to be boycotted. And then there are people like Dr. Disrespect, who otherwise are also relatively seen as like apolitical. But if you know Dr. Disrespect's background, you already know what he's about. Okay, I mean, that's Mr. Shungite, right? There are people in our space that are rushing to defend, and then there are people outside of our space, like the people in my arena, the right wingers like Tim Pool and whatnot, that have basically turned the story into, and they're going to turn the story into a national news story. People have gone. Of course, people are doing the regular thing that they do. Modern Warzone has been getting DMs. I'm not Call of Duty. I'm just a guy named Doug who tweets about Call of Duty and likes to stream video games. Please direct your anger elsewhere. Removing Nickmercs because he voices his opinion and he said nothing hateful. You are the issue with this country. Pathetic. Congrats on your incoming loss of revenue/sales. Hey Chris, I'm just a dude named Doug who talks about the game on Twitter and streams occasionally. I'm not the company. So that's where we're at with this kind of situation. Okay. That's where we're at. It's not good. It's really fucking awful. It's really shitty. And it's going to get even shittier because anytime things like this pop off on the timeline, anytime things like this pop off in our community on Twitch and on the live streaming space in general, it becomes incredibly hostile because there are outside eyeballs that want to also take advantage of the situation and weaponize it in whichever direction they want to. And it sucks because like there needs to be a decent there needs to be real communication. Okay? There needs to be real communication around the matter. Like, I don't think streamers understand that they're fucking brands. Like, I don't know why they don't understand that they're fucking brands until actual other brands decide to no longer associate with them. Okay? Like, once you can't say stuff like that. That is insane. You know what I mean? I don't think what Nick said was bad, to be honest. If it was, Nick said something that every fucking right winger and every Matt Walsh fan says on a daily fucking basis. It is a hidden way to basically state it's a hidden way to basically say LGBT are grooming your children. Okay. It's a dog whistle. Do I think Nickmercs knows that it's a dog whistle? No, I think he believes it. I think he like has been captured and completely fucking had his malleable side persuaded into believing, and maybe even in a fearful way believing that like fucking this shit is real. This is actually happening because of all the right wing shit on the timeline. And a lot of normies are like this. And it's not like Nickmercs was talking about like family issues and family matters or anything. He was responding to a situation where a bunch of fucking psychotic zealots had gone to a school district where they don't even have fucking kids in and were beating the shit out of like random parents because they were protesting that the school district had acknowledged that June was Pride Month. Okay? It's funny to see you support censorship in the name of being pro-left. It's getting cringe. Do you have any real opinions of your own, or do you just have a daily checklist of virtue signaling points? See, this is one of my favorite types of conversations to have. Okay? Because when you are saying that I'm virtue signaling because I think that like you shouldn't imply that like LGBT centric education is immediately and inherently grooming done by pedophiles, because I said that implying that even intentionally or unintentionally is wrong, and of course brands are going to find you to be toxic, that this all of a sudden is like me virtue signaling. Well, okay, it is a virtue. So you recognize that it is a virtue to not be a fucking hateful person, right? So how about you signal some virtues? You know what I mean? Instead of what? Vice signaling? Is that what you want to do? It's just like classic fucking anarchist who's like a single issue weirdo. You know what I mean? Oh, abolish cops and problem solved. Trust government. I hate the government. Yeah. In the name of being pro-left is getting cringe. Do you have any real opinions of your own? And do you have a daily checklist of virtue signaling points? You used to actually think before you spoke, Lamafayao. I mean, I've been in this, if you've been watching me since July 26, 2020, for the past 3 years, I think you've probably heard me speak on trans issues and where I land on trans issues and where I land on, like, queer issues probably 1,000 times. Okay? Probably 1,000 times. This is not new. Might be new to you, but this is something I talk about quite frequently. Okay? Not everyone who agrees with Nick is right-wing. Stop being cringe, bro. The people that are going to weaponize this story are right-wingers. They are doing that. Tim Pool is one of the primary examples. Okay? And they're doing it already. But regardless, when this kind of thing happens and people are basically saying like, oh, dude, Call of Duty is defending grooming, you're just quadrupling down on the right-wing narrative. I'm not going to ban that person. Shut up. Stop. Trying not to be as trigger happy with the bans, okay? Unless he starts saying like unhinged shit. Call of Duty defending grooming is going to be pride discourse for a while now, but the reality of the situation is they removed merch from someone who defended a white nationalist event where Proud Boy members assaulted parents and women, which is true. That is what happened. Does Nickmercs know that that's what happened? I don't think so, but it doesn't matter because now everyone thinks that about him and he's not clarifying it personally. And not only that, but his reaction to it, it looks like he's just doubling down, and especially because the statement in and of itself of like, oh well, this is actually we got to keep that shit away from our children. Well, that inherently is a right-wing fucking narrative. The idea that like any kind of love is love, pride, and any kind of like, no matter how fucking silly or no matter how like inconsequential any kind of mention of gay people or queer people in general is in media or in fucking schools or anywhere else, if you consider that to be grooming, then it's straight up, that's right-wing shit. Okay? That's it. Because it's not fucking grooming. Okay? Nickmercs gave a statement on the recent drama, thanking his supporters. Friends are created in good times, but families are built through adversity. Appreciate all of you that have my back, understand my position as a new father, and recognize the love I have for y'all. Ain't no hate in this heart, peace and love. Like, this kind of attitude, by the way, also existed for Black History Month, okay? Like, this is the same exact nonsense, okay? Nowadays, if you made that comparison, you would literally fucking be like, oh, dude, it's not the same. What are you talking about? Because it already passed, because conservatives gave up on fighting against that, okay? This kind of shit would happen literally with MLK Day. Do you understand? Like, even marginal acknowledgments for Black people was met with an entire wave of reactionary content creators and reactionary politicians that straight up did everything they can to not allow it to happen. Okay? That's it. That's the point. It's the exact same thing. You are reacting to changes that are happening around you and you're not liking it. And you're lashing out. When those changes oftentimes are simply just accommodations made for marginalized individuals that are getting attacked unjustifiably. Okay? This is also just recycled anti-gay discourse from 20 years ago, but less people know what trans people, so it's more effective. Yeah, I agree. Anyway, I think he's a right-winger, but him being too fucking stupid to know he's a right-winger doesn't make it any better, in my opinion. I don't care what content creators' like personal politics are. I do care when they are letting their personal politics become their fucking main output, okay? I think like Ludwig and I have talked about this before, both on stream and on podcasts and in general. I don't give a shit. If you're like fucking hateful, if you're like a bad person, if you're a hateful bigot in your fucking life, in your personal life, as long as it doesn't fucking seep through. If I know you personally and you do that kind of stuff around me, I'm going to tell you, don't do that. That's ridiculous. You're a fucking ridiculous person. But your output is what I care about. This is basically just harm reduction, okay? Because when you are letting that kind of shit fly, when that's becoming like your main point of contention, your main communication, all of a sudden, you're giving a green light to a lot of people in your community to also be super fucking toxic and super bigoted, okay? But yeah, so Dr. Disrespect apparently uninstalled Call of Duty for Nickmercs. He says unless they apologize and reinstate the Nickmercs bundle, he will not be playing the game.
Is uninstall the game. Number one. I mean, don't get a mistake, this year's Call of Duty is the worst in its franchise. But that decision by COD's PR marketing team, I'll tell you right now, man.
Yes, he's more loyal to Nickmercs having his skin than his own wife. I know. Yes, he's more loyal to that. I mean, he's also more loyal to Shungite, really. Bro, up to Shungite. You know what I mean? Just add a little bit more Shungite to that diet. Put it around La Casa. Okay, little pyramids, that sort of thing. I feel like we don't have enough Shungite in La Casa right now.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one to digest for the two-time. I feel like, A, they either need to apologize publicly to him or reinstate his bundle in order for me.
Whenever a COD fan talks about COD games, they always say the current one is the worst. Yeah, except it's also always true. So, like, they're not wrong. Yes, whichever Call of Duty game is being mass consumed and played by everybody is the worst one because that's the one that has all of the hackers in it. And that's the one that Call of Duty just straight up cannot fucking ban all of the hackers in for some fucking weird reason. So, yeah, that is the reason why it's always the worst one. I'm just happy that Dr. Disrespect now has like 200 gigs of free space on his fucking hard drive.
For me to consider playing Call of Duty again. That's where I'm at. We just don't.
So if someone else has an opinion opposite of yours, are we just going to cancel them? Doesn't matter if we agree. Who's to say your opinion is right? Okay. I need you to understand something. Okay. Nickmercs is not fucking canceled. There is no such thing as cancel culture, but a brand will react usually when they don't like your output. Okay. That's why you have to be fucking brand friendly, which is why I said it's not even about politics. It's about being accommodating, okay? It's about being nice. It's about fostering a community built around peace and love and built around being understanding and accepting. That's it. I don't get it. Let's say you have a brand and you're giving money to another person, and that person is all of a sudden saying like, "Hey, I actually don't fuck with all this gay shit." Let's say I don't even think you know, I don't fuck with this trans shit. Let's say, okay, let's not even say gay because I don't think Nickmercs is homophobic. Okay, do you have to keep working with that person? No. And by the way, while we are defending, a particular content creator, okay, while we're defending a particular content creator, how about you say that kind of shit at your place of work? What kind of reaction would happen to you? Because cancel culture does not exist for like people like myself and people like Nick. Let's be fucking real. You might actually take some hits left and right when you come out and you pop off on a particular issue. Okay, I mean my cancellation is baked into my commentary anyway. I'm not getting any fucking brand deals. Let's be real. Okay, and the ones that do come to me, I usually say no to anyway, regardless. But you don't have those kinds of amenities. You don't have that kind of you don't have those resources. You don't have those amenities. You can barely avoid the top of the hour ad break, which comes at the top of the hour every hour when there's a 3-minute long ad break. Okay? Cancel culture is real for you. You can't do shit. Okay? You can't do shit. You can't even fucking avoid the ads at the top of the hour without subscribing for $5 or for free with Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account or by getting gifted a sub if you're lucky. Thank you, Ironsides, for the 5 gifted subs. We need to be accepting on his opinion. No, you are accepting of his opinion. That's why you want others to be accepting of his opinion as well. That's different. Why? Like, what do you mean? Why would a brand which has like trans and gay consumers of the brand, which has trans and gay developers and shit inside of the company, why would that brand on the 1 month, the 30-day, 31-day fucking month of the year, that where they act like they give a fuck about gay people, why would that brand not actually do something about that? Of course they're going to do something about that. Like, do you understand where you're coming from? Do you know why? Like, do you know how fucking ridiculous that is? The dude. Okay. I agree. We need to be accepting, but we can't just take something away from someone because they took away his skin. I work with people I don't agree with all the time. We differ in opinions, but we all learn to get along. Accepting is a two-way street. Okay. But remember, there are certain things you can and can't say in the fucking workplace. Nick's workplace is both Twitter and Twitch. If you were to say these fucking, these queer people are grooming children, which is not as aggressive as what he said, so there's still an out for him, or was an out for him from the jump. He could have just been like, oh, everybody misunderstood me. You know what I mean? People still would have gotten mad at him, especially because he like follows Matt Walsh and whatnot. But he could have clarified and been like, oh, I just, I'm a new parent. This is, I'm very worried about what I see in the media, but I think I got this wrong. Obviously, love is love. Who cares? I don't have an issue with this. And, the LGBT community is not fucking magically grooming people by existing in society. Okay? But if at your fucking place of work, if you turned around and said, yeah, these homosexuals are grooming our fucking children, you get fired so goddamn fast, dude. Holy shit. Are you out of your mind? Like, what are you saying? We need to be accepting of his opinion. I accept everyone's opinion. I accept your position, and his being accepting isn't. I am right here. I am a parent, so I understand his position. I want to teach my kids certain things. Yeah, but he didn't say that. Yeah, I know he didn't say that. I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. He repeated something, whether willingly or unwillingly, that right-wingers have been saying since the beginning of fucking Pride Month or even before. And they've said it about every other fucking marginalized identity in the past. It's an intolerant perspective, okay? It's one that is also objectively incorrect. And at a time when there's so much fucking anti-queer legislation being passed left and right in fucking states where the people themselves are not even asking for this and the right-wing legislators are doing it on their own volition, of course, that kind of fucking rhetoric is going to cause a brand to say, no, I don't want to work with you anymore. What the fuck are you doing? Okay? You get that? Being a parent doesn't automatically change that. You can teach your child whatever you want to teach your child, okay? You probably shouldn't teach your child that like being gay or being trans is wrong, obviously. And you should probably teach your child that, you know, trans and gay people exist in society and it's perfectly normal and it's perfectly fine. Teach them acceptance so they don't become fucking dumbasses later down the line, hateful dumbasses later down the line who don't understand why things are the way they are and are just like, you know, lashing out at the fucking world because their parents taught them wrong. But as far as this kind of shit goes, okay, you can't say I accept everyone's opinion and then simultaneously say, but I don't accept like schools. I don't accept schools teaching kids that LGBT people exist. Okay, if you understand that that's how we need to, if you agree with that, we all need to learn how to get along, then wonderful. Then you probably shouldn't come out of the gates and defend a group of fucking psychotic weirdos like the fucking Proud Boys, okay? Whether willingly or unwillingly, whether because you knew what they were doing or you didn't know what they were doing, but the fact that like if you came out of the gate swinging as a prominent media person, yes, of course brands are gonna fucking retaliate towards that, especially on fucking Pride Month. That's the other thing. The other part of this is like it's literally the one time he's not gonna be able to get away with saying some shit like that. That's actually the kind of funnier part about this subject matter is that like what's happening? Are we just is this what we're doing? We're just like fucking we're just gonna channel the narrative that like you know, gay people are groomers actually? Like that's insane. That is a fucking insane thing to say. With great power comes great responsibility. Okay?
That's embarrassing. Holy shit.
We, as content creators, are profoundly fortunate motherfuckers, okay? We are some of the luckiest people on the planet. We hit the lottery. We hit the lottery every day. I hit the lottery every fucking day that I can start streaming, okay? Same goes for Nick. We're loved by our fan base. We have a tremendous amount of responsibility because of that reason. And when that's the case, you can't just you're not talking to your neighbor. You can't just like go and put your brand on something that's so hateful. There are probably in the Nickmercs fan base, in the M fam, there's probably trans people, there's probably gay people in there. You know what I mean? They're going to see that. Maybe some of them are going to go, well, I just want to see this in the most charitable light possible. Maybe he didn't mean that like he, you know, hates people. He hates people like me and thinks we're automatically grooming people. Okay? Stop saying not many. When you're that big of a fucking normie face and content creator, like there's plenty of people. It doesn't matter. I'm sure there are. You know what I mean? This wasn't just like this wasn't like completely random, completely unprompted. You know what I mean? It was very directed towards a particular subject matter. And it was like it painted him in the worst possible light that he could have been painted in. I don't think you understood that. So that's Dr. Disrespect. And now he's uninstalling COD and he says he won't be returning
Gotta
back.
do. It's a tough one. That's a tough one to digest for the two-time. I feel like, A, they either need to apologize publicly to him.
Yeah. Here's one of his trans fans talking about it. I don't even know what to say. Nick is someone I've looked up to so much in this scene ever since he stepped into it. I've always respected his grind to get better, but this just fucking sucks to see, knowing this is how he really sees people like me. There you go. There you fucking go, man. You guys are crazy when you think that like a content creator as big as Nick doesn't have any fucking trans or gay followers, man. Don't say one trans person, Lamau. Don't be fucking stupid. Don't be stupid. Okay? That's the entire point. That's the entire point of people who are like usually just not openly political and how they create their content. There's fucking trans gamers that probably like Ginny and like watch her content, and now they fucking feel like you hate them. This is my message to all the streamers who engage in this sort of behavior when they say this sort of shit, is that you have members in your audience who fucking love you, okay? Who love you, who adore you, who want to give you money, and then when you fucking say shit like this, you literally are making them cry, you're hurting them, you're hurting their fucking feelings, and you're denying them of their humanity pretty much. Like, you make them feel like fucking shit. So if you're not going to do it out of being kind, just think about it at least from the point of view of, making money, I guess, or not harming someone in your community. Especially because when you say stuff like that,
you don't love the spirit of
it
justice.
then makes
You love
that
your
stream
father,
a
the
toxic
devil.
place for people. And that toxicity continues off the just fucking. Yep. That was more than 3 years ago at this point. That was actually 4 years ago. Yeah. I don't think that Chad understands that this person is coming out as trans on Twitter to speak out against this. That puts them in the crosshairs. Also, most people are not on Twitter. And if they are, they're definitely not posting. Yeah, 20% of the American, 20% of Americans are on Twitter, dude. It's a tiny fucking fraction. It's important people that actually drive discourse, the broader discourse, like media members and whatnot. But still, what about you with your MAGA friends you insult every day? That's actually a great take. Don't you ever worry about hurting the feelings of your MAGA fans? Yeah, being trans is not the same as being a conservative, dog. You know what I mean? Like, you can just stop being fucking stupid, okay? You don't just stop being trans. The only way to stop being trans is when you fucking kill yourself, okay? That's how you stop being trans. And that's exactly what happens when there's so much fucking hatred all over the goddamn place. Like, I know you're joking, but come on. I am incredibly open-minded to people who have right-wing perspectives that want to understand, that want to hear a different perspective, that want to change their minds. I yell at the rigid leftists in this community sometimes more than I yell at right-wingers. Remember, okay? Because I am a firm believer that plenty of Republicans out there, Republican voters out there, are just duped, okay? They think that this is the right thing. They're angry, they're duped, and you have a party that is basically channeling that frustration at least at a vector, whereas the other side is basically saying, no, nothing is wrong, and we're going to actually do nice things, but then they don't end up doing those nice things at all. We have a feckless, ineffective, cowardly Democratic Party, and then a aggressive, violent, reactionary Republican Party that actually does get shit done and does tell you, here's what's wrong in society. You're feeling the hurt, and the reason why you're feeling this hurt is because gay people are grooming your children. It's because trans people are grooming your children. It's because there are demonic pedophiles. Okay? They do that so well. Oh, it's because immigrants are coming over the border and stealing your fucking jobs. It's never the business owners that are at fault here. Do not worry. Those are the good guys. It's the fucking random immigrants, the random asylum seekers that are at fault here. It's all built around lies. Okay? It sucks. I'm not checking your last message. Do you think calling the guy a Nazi and wishing harm is the right move here? Or should we be trying to... Wait, what? Which guy? Who am I calling a Nazi? I'm not calling anybody a fucking Nazi. I've been very careful in the way that I've, talked about this. What do you mean? There's a whole month of Pride, but veterans only get one damn day. To hell with Pride Month. Yeah, dude. You know there's fucking trans and gay veterans too, right? You idiot. Shut the fuck up. You don't give a fuck about veterans, okay? Leave this stream right now and go suck the cock of a veteran and don't come back until you are full of his cummies, okay? I don't want to fucking hear from you. What have you done for a goddamn veteran? Suck my dick. This bitch ass motherfucker only remembers veterans when it's like using veterans against another fucking marginalized group. Pride Month isn't a fucking federal holiday. It's just a bunch of brands and a bunch of organizations basically saying, hey, let's not fucking hate crime gay people, okay? Love is love. Be accepting. And then motherfuckers go, oh, dude, that's unacceptable. That's grooming. That's pedophilia, actually. God damn, dude. Also, isn't there a whole month, a military appreciation month? Isn't that? There's definitely like a couple different months that actually appreciate our, brave soldiers. But you don't know about that because you don't give a fuck. You don't care. And I don't either. I don't know about that either. Okay? I don't. Because that's the reality. If you care about veterans, go fucking fight your congressperson to ensure that the VA is adequately funded. If you care about fucking veterans, go do that shit, dumbass. Don't fucking cry about it here to be like, oh, what about pride? Every 22 minutes, a veteran is fucking killing themselves. They're on the goddamn streets. They're fucking homeless. You don't give a single shit about the housing market. I've never heard you fucking go out of your way to fight against that. Okay? And then you turn around and you're like, oh, what about pride? Like, fuck you. It's so insincere. It's so disingenuous. You just heard another person say that, a person that you probably look up to, and you just repeated that in here because it's just a talking point to you. Okay? November has Veterans Day. May has Memorial Day. The whole month of May is Military Appreciation Month. Yeah. This country doesn't give a fuck about veterans, okay? Just like they don't give a fuck about gay people and trans people and shit, okay? You understand that? They don't give a fuck. They do not care. But the difference is no one loses their mind when like the MLB or the NFL actually at least like trots out a fucking vet to be like, we love you, sir. Thank you for your service. No one fucking loses their shit at that, okay? But even then, it's still nothing. Like, it's nothing. That's nothing. We love our veterans so much. That's why we send them fucking overseas to get their dicks shot off, okay, while defending a goddamn opium field in Afghanistan that they shouldn't even fucking be there. They're broken. They come back. And like what? We give them thank you for your service every now and then and maybe 20% off on Veterans Day. Wow, man, it's so sick. We really do care about our veterans. Like, shut the fuck up. You don't give a shit. These motherfuckers are getting cancer because of the goddamn burn pits at the forward operating bases, and the American government's not even funding their fucking healthcare. Suck my dick, okay? Again, every 22 minutes, a veteran's fucking killing themselves. If you gave a shit about that, you would try to stop that, okay? And the most effective way to stop that is by undermining the American military-industrial complex. But you don't care about undermining that because to you, veterans are just a talking point, okay? 1,000,000% I care more about stopping the hurt and the harm than you do. And I'm the motherfucker who said America deserved 9/11. Okay? So live with that for the rest of your goddamn days. As someone who fell into the reactionary alt-right rabbit hole in 2014 and dragged out late 2016 after a lot of harsh truths and shit times, I can say it's all predation on insecurities. I think a large portion are duped based on this exploitation of finally finding an in-group or circle they feel accepted with that avoids the harder work of self-improvement and reflection. That's exactly what it is copium, and it's fucking sad, and people utilize that. People weaponize that. People weaponize that insecurity against, people weaponize that insecurity for their own gain, for their own benefits. I hate how people think vets don't get help a lot. I got a lot of help on my way out. I get $2K in disability every month healthcare, and I even got $150K knocked off my property tax value. We get help. Stop using us all the fucking time. Yeah, you're lucky. That's survivor's bias. There are plenty of veterans that I even know fucking personally that didn't end up so lucky. There's a ton of fucking vets in here all the time. What do I always say, man? In the VA system, either you're really fucking lucky to get 100% coverage or really fucking unlucky. And nothing in between. Okay? And I think you understand what I mean when I say really unlucky, okay? And there's plenty of coverage that rarely gets addressed as well, especially like psychiatric evaluations, like you know, being able to get the adequate treatment necessary. Service, dude. Thank you for your fucking service. Hey, you want to know how we stop both of these numbers, dude? Stop fucking going to war for no goddamn reason, okay? That's it. That's fucking it, okay? I'm a veteran. I withdrew one semester while using the GI Bill. The IRS hunted me for 3 years and began garnishing my wages, $600 a month for a year. I had to sell my 401k and refinance my mortgage. This country does not give a fuck about veterans. VA hospitals are also trash. Yeah, it's wild that like we found the one vet who was like, "Well, I actually got a pretty good deal from the VA, so we're good." Everybody, calm down. Why the numbers stopped going up in 2020? They have data only up to 2020, probably. Hassan's dominatrix. That's a rarity. I'm a combat vet and I'm unemployed and my electric gets turned off at 7 a.m. Plus I'm having PTSD episodes and I have fucking brain malformation from a goddamn IED and can't have surgery until February. Like, and half of the fucking people that did this shit wouldn't even do it if fucking healthcare was free and college education was free. That's the other part of it. If you truly want to fucking, tackle those goddamn numbers, it's not even about funding the VA. It's about shutting off the faucet on the one hand, okay, stopping these insane, unnecessary wars for profit, okay, and then also on the other hand, make sure that veterans are adequately taken care of. Everyone's adequately taken care of. It's not just about fucking vets either. God damn it, I hate this like politicized nonsense. Like it's identity politics, like the veteran shit. It's just like right-wing identity politics. And I'm not gonna have that in here. Let's be fucking real, okay? Don't ever come at me with that dumb shit again. Anyway, is there anything else I didn't cover about this? Doc says he won't be playing COD again. Let's see. Ironically, LSF had like a decent take on this for the record. Like it was actually surprising. It's not really meaningful, Doc, considering he uninstalls the game every week. Lamount. Nick was done with the game too until his skin came out. He was all in on Apex. Weird he's playing a game with arguably the most diverse of cast characters in any FPS. Oh, diverse cast of characters. Yeah. That's the other thing. Like Nick's playing Apex. Apex is even gayer than Call of Duty. Call of Duty is like more fucking Call of Duty in and of itself is like more fucking hoorah, American imperialism, blah, 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 all this shit. Apex is so fucking gay. You have to suck a dick to get better at it, okay? It's like wild to me that like the most bisexual game out of all the fucking shooters, and that's the one he's playing and he loves it. And it's like he's saying this kind of shit. Like Apex literally is a trans character, dude. Remember when COD put you in the game? Yeah, it wasn't very nice when Call of Duty put me in the game. I was the villain of the story. And bald. Who's only talking about children, though? That's Cope. Now, the question I ask you is this. What do you think he meant? Okay? Because I want to know that as well. I wish he had addressed that. Okay? That's the thing. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, is something happening to children? Because it's not like he just threw that out there randomly in the void. He said that when he was talking about literally Proud Boys beating the shit out of fucking parents at a school, at a protest for a school in Glendale, a school district in Glendale deciding to say June is Pride Month. That's it. That's the fucking reason why there's so much controversy. Probably meant that he didn't want children learning about sexuality stuff. What do you mean? Like, that's not a normal notion anyway, regardless. Okay? You can have an opinion on sex ed. It can be the wrong opinion. But when you're describing it, when a school is saying, like, we're doing fucking Pride Month, look for the clip I think people are linking. I know he addressed it. Yeah, Hutch did have a good take. The protest was about school district voting to recognize Pride Month and a part of the state mandated curriculum that educates kids on diversity, different types of families, contributions to history from LGBTQ leaders. What does leave the kids alone mean in this context? Exactly.
Okay? I didn't like.
Like, that's what I mean. But unfortunately, this conversation can never be had in a normal fashion. You want to know why? Because the right wing has dominated this fucking space. Whenever you speak about this and you say, what are you talking about? Like, this is not what you think it is. The other side goes, no, this actually means they're grooming the children and they're doing pedophilia. Okay? And not the good kind of pedophilia that the Catholic Church does, by the way, because that kind of pedophilia is perfectly fine by us, the conservative side. You know what I mean? So, like, that's the entire point of this conversation.
Like what I was seeing, man. Okay, I saw parents brawling in front of a fucking school with kids. I just didn't fucking like it. You know, I'm sure a lot of you guys can understand how that video would piss some people off. It pissed me off. Okay, now, I mean, full transparency. You know, how do I put this? I gotta be very, very careful here. I don't want to piss anybody off. I'm making a lot of people mad. Wasn't my intention. I mean, listen, my wife and I just had a baby. Brand new father. You know, we seen these kinds of videos. It's sad, you know. But her and I agree that we want to be the ones to talk to our kid about things like that. I'm trying to keep it really simple, just so we don't have to get too crazy about it, because there's nothing to get crazy about. It's just it really is that simple. I think I just have a bigger perspective on this now, being a parent, than I did maybe 2 months ago. So, you know, the video.
Nick is an example of why right-wing propaganda is effective on new parents when they focus on invisible threats to your kid. Yeah, exactly. Like, this is how fucking even conspiracy theorists were able to captivate so many people with like QAnon shit, right? Because they were saying, oh, you know, 800,000 children are being kidnapped in America every fucking year. You know what I mean? And they're being trafficked. And it's like, when you're a new parent, you're fucking terrified of everything. Okay? You see that and you're like, what the fuck? Is this real? And then there's a fuckload of fake news that you can go down the rabbit hole on and get completely radicalized. Okay? And obviously the 800,000 number is not real. There are 800,000 kids that go missing for a multitude of different reasons, many of which is just custody agreements, by the way. The overwhelming majority is custody agreements, custody battle situations, or like a kid gets lost and found immediately. Okay? The kid's like lost for the day. The number of like random kidnappings that children experience in the United States of America is, and when I found out about this, because I had to like literally pull this fucking data up. You want to know? You want to know how many kids actually, out of 800,000, you want to know how many kids actually got like the classic minivan kidnapping? 8. Okay? And obviously, any number above 0 is still unacceptable. But there's a big difference between 8 and 800,000, okay? But that's how right-wing propaganda works. My partner says he doesn't want teachers educating children on LGBTQ and sexuality because there's no guarantee that educators can do it well. And my partner wants to do it outside the school system. Is that fair? No, it's not fair. It's dumb. It's a dumb take. Because it's not just fucking random teachers teaching your children. First of all, it's so stupid. Are you going to homeschool? Like, are you and your partner going to homeschool your child? Do you guys have the capability of homeschooling your child? You think you can do a better job than like the actual researchers and educators that have figured out what the best process is for childhood development, the socialization, the aspects that come from like going to school? Do you have a better assessment on evolution, on the theory of, evolution or gravity? And you're going to do a better job of educating your children on that stuff too? That's the point. Like, that's what's ridiculous about this entire conversation, is that like Americans are so fucking atomized and they're so like entitled and they think that they know everything better than like the actual professionals. There's a division of labor for this precise reason. Okay? But now that's a different situation, okay? That's a different situation. If your take is simply, I want to be doing sex ed, okay? You and I can have a conversation on that, and I can tell you why you're wrong. But if you are saying that as you're watching fucking a bunch of Proud Boys and like January 6th rioters and shit go to a school district where they have no children in and duking it out with fucking parents who are like, no, it's actually fine that June is Pride Month in the Glendale School District, okay? And giving acknowledgments to like, LGBT figures throughout history or whatever. If that is like, if you're looking at that situation and going, yeah, you're right, actually, leave the kids out of this is fucking bullshit. Then yeah, that's ridiculous. Like you can't, that is going to be something that brands consider to be toxic. That's going to be something that, your fan base, some of people in your fan base are going to consider to be toxic.
Bothered me, right? And that's I just don't think it's any place for a teacher or a school. I don't think it's the place to speak about things like that. And it's not that I think that it should.
Like I am a firm believer that sex ed is a good thing. I'm a firm believer that like LGBT acknowledgments, just like Black History Month, is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Okay? This is a good thing. This is not a bad thing. We can have disagreements on this issue, and that's fine. But obviously, there is like a normal way to disagree with it, a normal way to have this conversation, okay? And then a way to have this conversation in the most incendiary way possible. And Nick, whether willingly or unwillingly, did this in the most incendiary way possible and left a lot of room for doubt too. And then his response to it also made it seem like he was fucking doubling down, which is the reason why a lot of people are understandably frustrated with this and angry at it, and totally understandable that like Call of Duty would pull the skin off, especially during Pride Month. Like he could have had this conversation at any other point of time, and probably he would have been fine, and he wouldn't have gotten his skin taken away. You know what I mean? But like literally 8 days in the fucking Pride Month, of course Call of Duty is gonna take the fucking PR dub.
Shouldn't be spoken about. If that's what you got from that tweet, then you're just wrong. I don't have any quarrel with anybody in here. I don't have any quarrel with people on the internet. It wasn't an anti, I guess, gay tweet. That wasn't what it was. Now, listen, if you have issues with me or if you have issues with that tweet, then hey, listen, I'm down to agree to disagree. That's fine. We can agree to disagree. But if you think that I hate you because you're a certain way, you just
like there's two separate subjects here. Okay, on the one hand, you have sex ed, which is good. That's a good thing. Okay. It literally eliminates child predation because that's oftentimes the first time a fucking kid learns that they are being raped by usually a family member or someone in their immediate vicinity. And as a parent, you would probably want that, right? You would want your child to acknowledge that and stop that predation, right? That's why sex ed is very valuable, okay? Sex ed also greatly lowers the teenage pregnancy rates, okay? And that's completely separate from LGBT and pride recognition, okay? It has a chance to lower STIs, STDs, and it has a chance to greatly reduce teenage pregnancy rates. Look no further than states that have either abstinence-only sex education or no sex education whatsoever. Those states have incredibly high teenage pregnancy rates in comparison to states that don't, okay? Have such restrictions. So remember that. So understand that. So it's already a good thing. But this is a normal conversation that we're having. Now, that's also disconnected from the LGBT and pride narrative here, okay? LGBT recognition is perfectly valid, perfectly normal, perfectly reasonable, okay? I do not agree that that is something that shouldn't be taught in schools or whatever. It is no different than saying Black History Month shouldn't exist, or it is no different than saying, like, I don't want children to learn about, like, Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or Harriet Tubman, okay? Like putting Harvey Milk in there or other LGBT figures throughout time and LGBT recognition for one fucking month is not a bad thing. These people have existed throughout history. They still exist in society. And it doesn't matter. Like your child is not going to turn gay or anything when they find out about it. Okay? And obviously, if you were to say, I should be the one who's teaching my child about Black history, like that, people will go, no, that's insane. That's an insane thing to say. It's more acceptable to say that about trans people right now because there's not that many trans people to begin with. And a lot of trans people are often invisible for safety reasons. So the only time you hear about trans people is when right-wingers who can't shut the fuck up about trans people are showing trans people in the worst light possible. That's the reason, okay? Because they are dedicating entire fucking, like they're dedicating countless hours to saying trans people are predators, pedophiles, groomers, villains, murderers, and freak athletes.
Couldn't be any more wrong. That's not the truth. I've said things in my past. I've done things in my past. We all have. Okay? People grow. People get better. It's part of life, man. Okay? And I've grown a lot as a human being on planet. I'm sure we all have. Okay? I do not feel that way. I just simply feel that I want to be the one and my wife wants to be the one to speak with our child about stuff like that. And that was the tweet. That was the tweet.
Are people born or made gay? People are born gay. But even if people were made gay or turned gay, it would be very difficult to explain why that's necessarily a bad thing. Okay? I can't believe we're having the 1993 conversation again. You know what I mean? About like whether you were born gay or turned gay. Okay?
You can take the tweet if you want and you can spin it, flip it, flop it, quote tweet it. You can put 10 paragraphs on top of it. You can do whatever you want to it to make you feel better if that's what you want to do. But that was the tweet, okay? So if you came here to hear that, I hope you feel a little better about it. I didn't mean to upset anyone.
The fact that people even think that this should be considered teaching is crazy. When a teacher asks you about your mom and dad, nobody calls it the teacher teaching or grooming children into hetero behavior. If a teacher plays Frozen or some other Disney movie, nobody thinks that the kissing scene is our teaching either. Showing that something exists in society is just a subconscious thing that happens, is not just some kind of agenda. Exactly. What is the agenda? Is the agenda to be more accepting of gay and trans people? If that's the case, which, by the way, that is the agenda, okay, why is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? Should we not be accepting of gay and trans people? Are there not gay and trans children? Do they deserve to be fucking bullied at school for being different? You know what I mean? I don't think so. And I think these kinds of initiatives are set up specifically to combat that sort of thing, so that you stop children from fucking killing themselves for being different and being relentlessly goddamn bullied. So you offer some resources to kids that need it, okay? But unfortunately, we can't sit down, take a deep breath, and have this normal-ass fucking conversation, okay? Because right-wingers literally have captured the entire marketplace. They have completely captured the marketplace. They dominate the space, and they flood it all day, every day with like the most insane, most unhinged shit you've ever fucking seen. And it feels sometimes like no one else is doing anything about it. It sometimes feels like the only people that are yelling about this shit is trans people on fucking Twitter. I don't know if it's like fatigue that people experience from this and they don't want to like deal with it anymore a little bit, but it's crazy.
Anybody, I know that I did. I'm not apologizing about the tweaks. I don't feel like it's wrong. I'm going to stand by what I said. I'm not going to delete the tweet. You know, I just want to make sure everybody understands exactly the point I was trying to make by tweeting my response. You know, and I do want to apologize to Puckett though. I feel like I might have brought a little bit of shit his way, man. I didn't mean to do that.
So he said this. What is this? A brilliant young trans woman wrote a kind and powerful letter to her anti-trans parents, and they immediately posted it in the gender-critical DIY trans conversion therapy group, where the other parents in the group all proceeded to insult her and accuse her of plagiarism. Yeah, I don't want to read this entire thing. Okay? The right really sold themselves on the I'm a victim mentality, so much so that it's become impossible to have a conversation with them because they assume everything is an attack. Yeah. By the way, the irony is that like Nick has a lot of like, you know, the Spartan stuff, like his skin. This is not lost on me, okay? Well, I guess it's like more Roman legionnaire shit. But like he's got a lot of like Greek, Spartan. I mean, he's a Michigan fan too. Like these guys have been historically some of the gayest motherfuckers. Okay? Like literally some of the openly gayest homosexuals out there. Okay? Just butt fucking left and right. Butt fucking so much they were like, oh man, I can't do war right now. I'm butt fucking. I'm too busy fucking ass. Okay? So the idea that like, you know, oh, I don't want children learning about this shit while you got this going on with your skin is, you know, is hilarious. Greeks were gay, but Spartans were mega gay. Spartans were the gayest. What's wrong with being a Michigan fan? Well, I'm saying that like a lot of these, you know, a lot of the imagery invoked, I think wasn't like, isn't Michigan, what's Michigan sports like? Don't they have, yeah, Michigan State is the Spartans. Like Michigan State University is, oh, fuck, how do I do this every fucking time? I don't even understand how this happens. I shook it. But yeah, Michigan State University is the Michigan State University Spartans. Literally just objectively the gayest of the old school homosexuality. The Michigan fan and their Wolverines probably hates Michigan State. I'm just saying, he still has like the same fucking logo though. His logo and his like the imagery that he's invoking. I got it. He's a fucking Michigan Wolverines fan. He's not a Spartan fan. I'm talking about his skin though. Okay? His skin in the fucking Call of Duty game is invoking the imagery of either the Romans or the Greeks and the Spartans. Okay? So that is, no matter which way you cut it, some of the most objectively gayest warriors. Okay? His branding is all Spartan armor. Those guys, they love fucking each other. Okay? They love fucking and sucking. All right? That's my point. Like, how are you failing to understand that? Anyway. Yeah, and Ann Arbor is like also, ironically, a very accepting area as well. Very, very fucking progressive. From the University of Michigan YDSA, we're on strike with our grad union and running on VODs and Breeze Pros. Yeah. Yeah, I think we've covered this enough though. It was just surprising to see LSF actually take a perspective on this that that was you know, not like the worst, you know what I mean? Like I saw the post like me covering Call of Duty removing the in-game Nickmercs skin. But look at this. Like, I'm out of the loop because someone filled me in. There have been protests outside of a school in California because the city council voted to acknowledge Pride Month, i.e., hang a bunch of rainbow decor and telling kids you can love or you can be or love whoever, the usual stuff. Protests were nonviolent for several days until yesterday when people started physically attacking the pro-LGBT counter-protesters, starting a brawl. Someone posted a video of this on Twitter decrying violence towards the LGBT community and saying this is why Pride is necessary. Nickmercs responded, essentially saying this violence wouldn't happen to them if Pride was out of school altogether, which was the real issue, not that the people being assaulted, apparently. People got upset. He went live and didn't back down. Instead, tried to clarify that he only cares about the parents' rights, but he didn't end up sounding any less bigoted, basically insinuating Pride in schools sexual grooming. Thanks for the info, homie. It wasn't just people. It was Nazis who don't have kids who go there and they aren't even from there. Yeah. And it is like wild to see. Bro, parents' rights is the new states' rights of the 21st century law. When has there ever been a time in history where being against someone's existence was on the correct side of history? Ironic, because parents' rights were also, back then, the states' rights as well. But it is interesting to see so many people just like... especially on Reddit or especially on LSF, not immediately rush to be like, this is fucked up. Well, you know, Tim Pool and the like have already jumped on this. And you know Ben Shapiro loves to take on, especially when it's like trans-related shit, you know Ben Shapiro's bitch ass loves fucking talking about this kind of thing. So I suspect this will be a point of contention for a couple days, as they'll say, Call of Duty is pro-grooming. Like, you've lost the plot, okay? Like, what is this conversation? What is this fucking conversation? Like, look at this. If a dude says leave kids alone so you fire him, I think it's reasonable to say COD is run by pedophiles. Call of groomers. Based by, like... I said this before, like maybe a year ago, where I was like, something is shifting in the... Something in the aftermath of COVID basically shifted in American politics, which was already shitty, okay? Like, it was already shitty. It was always shitty, okay? But something got worse. Conservatives just basically decided, oh, if you disagree with me, you're a pedophile. And they just started throwing that accusation around, which is ironic because we very quickly found out usually the loudest voices that kept saying, oh, if you're gay, you're a pedophile, were literally pedophiles. Like, actually pedophiles. I'm talking... charged in a fucking court of law pedophiles. I'm talking can't be near a fucking school within 500 yards of a school type pedophiles. Okay? That is what's insane to me. Like, you would probably want to, I don't know, stay away from calling every single person a fucking pedophile if you yourself or a lot of people in your movement have directly been charged with sexual misconduct towards minors. It's basically like a permanent this you type situation. Remember old Matthew Riley, the Republican city councilman from Cranston that was recently arrested after being caught passed out on drugs? He got arrested again for child molestation. There it is. Former Cranston councilman arrested again, this time for child molestation. Wait a minute. Sorry. Is this guy actually arrested for child molestation? Because it doesn't say anywhere that he is a drag queen. You know what I mean? And if you look at the mainstream narrative here, the only people that are supposedly apparently engaging in that is supposed to be drag queens and trans people, right? No, it's not. It's always motherfucking politicians and churches, okay? Especially politicians on the Republican side. Conservative politicians. Is that a good source? I don't know. You mean the Providence Journal? What are you talking about, dude? It's just a local news article. I fucked up. Trump supporter and GOP candidate for college board allegedly caught masturbating near preschool while watching interracial porn. If you remember, we covered this. This was a really funny arrest video. He said, officer comes up. He says, I saw your phone out while you were doing what you were. what was going on with the phone? He said, I was watching porn. Officer goes, what kind of porn were you watching? Which is so funny. It's like, I was interracial porn. When you look around here, what do you see? The child center, but I didn't notice it until you came up and I got out of my truck. Are you going to put that in the report? Don't you see how alarming that is? That there are children nearby, people passing on bikes and in cars where they can look and see what you're doing? I fucked up. Here's another one. Founder of the Protect Our Kids First arrested for allegedly downloading child sex abuse material. Meanwhile, right-wingers continually accuse LGBTQ people, drag performers, and their allies of being pedophiles and groomers. Okay? Like, Aiden Ross was fucking saying this shit to me the other day. Why? For the crime of fucking saying that you should be more accepting, okay, of gay and trans people existing in society, that I was a groomer for that reason, right? Which is really weird of Aiden Ross to say because he very openly showed his audience of predominantly minors pornographic material, like deliberately and openly. What the fuck is going on? Don't you think it's odd that Tim, a 40-year-old man, turned his house into a giant skate park? Yeah, I found out about that recently. I do think that's odd. Why is a 40-year-old single man who constantly talks about how society's at fault for him being single, turning his entire house into a skate park where he wants people to hang out at his skate park? Anyway. Sorry, I gotta send an Uber to my dad. Classic. Oh, this was it, right? Simple literally has an in-home skate park he uses to lure and groom little boys. That's why he's eternally single, but right-wingers have a lot of practice turning a blind eye to that sort of thing because of the church. Like, I don't know how... look, I don't know. Maybe it is real. I don't know. I haven't seen enough evidence on this. That's what I would like to see more evidence on it. This is similar to the Kyrie situation. He just posted a link. Nick just said, leave kids alone. Same shit. Wait. What the fuck is this? Wait. This is really American, dude. What the fuck is this? This is just like a random account. Don't send me this shit unless it's like confirmed. Send me a confirmed and reliable news network that is covering this. But regardless, let's get to the fucking real juice.